What's happening, filmmakers? It's George VK. Welcome to Filmmaker Secrets. Over the past 2 years, I've been speaking with some amazing filmmakers, and they have been sharing some fantastic filmmaker secrets with me. So I wanted to pass those along to you so you can benefit as well. So without further ado, here are the top 21 filmmaker secrets from 2021. Happy New Year. Go ahead and say what's up to our filmmakers and share the one filmmaker secret that you've been keeping from us.
What's up, filmmakers? My deep, dirty, and dark secret that I've been keeping from all of you, and George has convinced me to share, is simply to project unearned confidence at all times. I'm talking pre-production, production, post-production. It sounds simple. It's in fact extremely hard because, as any of you know who have tried to make a film, a short, anything, the shit's gonna hit the fan. And you're gonna wanna curl up into fetal position any number of times. But if you are the filmmaker, if you're the producer, writer, director, whatever it is, if you're captain of the ship, you have got to project such confidence that everybody believes that it's true. And that when you say we're going to make our day, when you know there's no way you're going to make your day, everybody on that set believes you.
What's up, filmmakers? My name is Rob Shearer. I'm a producer-director here in Denver. And the one secret I have is, it's not really a secret for people who are maybe more experienced in this industry, but it's something I wish I knew when I was younger. And that is 10% contingency. And basically what that means is when you're budgeting a project, just add 10% to it, whatever the budget is. So like, let's say you're budgeting out a commercial or a documentary and it costs $10,000. Add an extra $1,000 to that, because basically what that does is it gives you a little bit of wiggle room up front. So for any sort of like unexpected expenses, additional shoot days, equipment you didn't know you needed. And it just is like a safety net, and also prevents you from having that awkward conversation with your client about asking for more money that you weren't expecting to spend. And on the flip side of that, if your client has a fixed budget, like let's say a person comes to you and says, hey, I want you to make this video, but I only have $5,000 for it. Kind of do the inverse of it. Basically subtract 10% from that fixed budget. So imagine that you can only spend $4,500 for that. And then that still gives you 10% wiggle room for any unexpected costs. So 10% contingency, start adding it to your budget.
A filmmaker secret that I've been really adamant about when I meet or talk to new filmmakers or people who are just starting out, or even people who are in the industry but don't necessarily understand narrative film or editing, or like, you know, there's different aspects to filmmaking. Like some people stay in audio their whole lives and they've never touched a camera. But I've just been working a lot with people who do a lot of product videos and stuff like that. And I always find it curious why people don't put more work into their shot lists. For me, when I get on set, I'm kind of all over the place, especially when you're the director. You're getting pulled in a million different directions. Everyone has a question. There's always a fire to put out. Something always goes wrong. So when you're on set, you really do want to be prepared as possible. And if I don't have that shot list, I'm so like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like what I prepared all this stuff. Like I don't remember what the shot was. Like, let me go and look. And so I think having a detailed shot list, just preparing in general is the most important thing, especially before a production. But I think having a shot list when you're the director is going to save you so much time when you're on set, because you don't want to, time is money on set. Like you really have to work fast. You really have to know your stuff in order to get scheduling on time. Like there's sometimes hundreds of people depending on you to get this stuff done. But yeah, I don't know if that's a secret or not, but like I always get so like mad when I'm on a set or anywhere and they like don't have the details figured out. As the director, that's your job, is to partially like do the schedule and figure out the shots and come up with every single thing you shouldn't be figuring out the day of. And I get there and they're just trying to figure out shots and everything. And I'm like, this should already be done.
What's up, filmmakers? I'm Nate. The one secret that I have been hiding because I'm greedy is not really a secret at all. It's the most important thing for me as a filmmaker is the performance. So I did kind of think about this a little bit. And I think my secret is to introduce, don't be afraid of a little theater in your life. And by that, I mean working with actors, outside of film, and really getting those reps in and how to talk to actors, how to work with actors. And if you have a chance to do some of those acting exercises yourself, so you kind of have a feeling of what it feels like. Because when you put yourself in an actor's shoes, you start to very quickly understand all the insecurities and, how they want to look. And I think that's really important to make them feel comfortable so you can get the best performance as possible.
What's up, everybody? Hello. I think that when he asked me about this filmmaker secret, I got actually very nervous about revealing a secret because I don't know if I have any secrets. But the more I thought about it, I thought about just really the prep. I really believe in a happy set. So I believe in connecting with everybody beforehand, making sure everything is really prepped and clear, and then really trusting everybody to do their job and trusting that when you get in the weeds, that goodwill is going to come back and we're all going to put our heads together and get out together. So I don't try to do anyone else's job. And I really try to let everybody sort of just really be the masters of their own domain and respect that they know more than me probably in that. And I think that's my biggest secret. It's gotten me out of a lot of jams.
How's everybody doing? Thanks for having me, George. This is an amazing venue and podcast. I've listened to every episode. It's great.
Appreciate it.
I guess the number one secret that they don't reveal to you in film school and when you get up to be an adult in the real world is you don't need LA. And what I mean by that is, especially in light of COVID, there are so many different venues and tools and things like podcasts that can get your voice out. There's so many different kinds of ways to show your art that if you don't want to go down the route of LA or Georgia or New Mexico or whatever, you can kind of in this day in life pick your own path and go at it 110%.
Well, hello. First off, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. And my name is Jimmy Weber. And first off, let me say I'm by no means an expert by any means. I've only been doing this for, probably 10, 15 years by now. So, but my secret is that I try to do it all, if you will. And as you said, when you were introducing me, I tried to do visual effects, music composition, writing, directing, editing, just anything that I can try to get my hands on and learn about and do. I try to do it and not just like learn about it or be able to do it for my film. But when I'm not making movies, I'm continuing to practice and work at that craft. So that is my secret.
All right. Hey, how's it going, George? Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. All right. So my filmmaker secret is that many name actors will work on your movie and they'll work with your budget as long as you work with unions. So that'll up the production value of your project. And also it's going to up how many film festivals you're going to have the potential of getting into. It's also going to up distribution. So potential distributors are going to be way more interested if you can get like those name actors from TV shows and stuff like that to work on your show. And a lot of them will do it just because they like your work. So if you write a good screenplay, it's very likely you can get really good actors in your project, movie, TV pilot, whatever you're doing. So
Hi, thank you for having me. Okay, so this has really been on my mind lately. It's on my mind a lot, but that is framing. And as filmmakers, of course, we think literally about framing, and we know the importance of how we frame things in our films. As documentary filmmakers, we have an extra level of framing because when we're out filming the real world, we can tell 100 different stories based on the same event just by how we frame things, right? So we have to be really cognizant. But in our personal lives, in our own minds, we have to be careful with how we frame things, because the way we approach our filmmaking, our everything in our life depends on how we frame what's happening. And with filmmaking especially, you know, there's a lot of challenges that you're going to face. And depending on how you frame those challenges in your mind, you're going to have an easier time or a harder time handling those challenges. So for instance, with me, with the film that I'm working on now, I started working on this 2 years ago. I'm coming up on, I'm applying for grants. Some of these grants I've applied to 3 or 4 times already. And the thing is, that can be really frustrating, or I can look back and see how much I've improved over that time because I've had to take the time to learn my subject better, to connect to people more. And I'm so thankful for that. I look at, I just did a complete overhaul of my grant, like a complete overhaul of my proposal. And this is probably the 3rd time that I've done that. In between I'll do tweaky stuff, but at some point you look and you're like, I'm so far beyond this now, it's gotta go. And I can look at that and be like, oh, there's so many barriers to filmmaking. Or I can look at it as there are these challenges that make me not only a better filmmaker every time I make it through one, but they make me a better person. Like, I'm becoming a more resilient, gritty person thanks to all of the things that I've had to go through.
Oh man, okay. Well, thanks George for having me on, first of all. And what's up everybody? The one filmmaker secret. That's it, huh?
The one. That's all I'm giving you.
Okay, that's it. All right. This is going to be a quick one then. So I would say when it comes down to it, I've been teaching cinematography and business skills to filmmakers for the last 5 years or so. Have worked with a lot of filmmakers, have seen a lot of, ups and downs and like what's working and what's not working and what makes work look good and what makes it not look good. And I would say when it comes to cinematography, which is my favorite thing, like I'm a DP, done commercial work, and like I love lighting and cinematography, and I'm the camera guy. Like I just love operating the camera.
Yeah.
And from doing all of that, I have found that the number one thing that will determine whether your cinematography looks good or looks bad is, can you guess? Lighting. Okay, absolutely lighting. So if you haven't invested a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of like resources into learning lighting, you're probably gonna struggle for a while as a filmmaker. And I wish that I knew that starting out, just how important lighting is, because I remember when I started out shooting videos, like it was usually just run and gun style. We'd have like a camera on a glide cam and run around and shoot whatever. I didn't think about what the lighting was doing. I just needed to be in a well-lit space, right? If there's lights on, it's probably okay, right? Or if we're shooting outside in the sun, then it's probably okay. Like that was kind of my approach to lighting. And so I didn't realize like how important it is. But when it comes down to it, like the best cinematographers in the world, what they're masters at is analyzing light and what is happening to light, especially on a subject's face. So analyzing what direction it's coming from, what the quality of the light is, the intensity of it, what the color of it is, matching colors, doing color contrast, creating, and not just analyzing the light, but also knowing how to use the tools and the resources like lights and flags and scrims and diffusion and silks and all that kind of stuff in order to craft a look, to craft the lighting that you want to motivate natural light. So you see scenes in movies that look like they're just, sitting in a room and there's a lamp on near the window, right? But a lot of times that's all manufactured from the ground up. And it's because these DPs that are professional, they understand exactly what natural light does so that they can mimic it and recreate it with their tools to create the best look possible.
Hello there. What's up? As George said, thank you for that introduction. I'm Adam. The one secret, I guess, that I could give to everyone would be follow your heart. I know that kind of sounds cheesy, and it is, but I think what I mean is that you want to tell a story, you want to make a film, and it's easy to get caught up in the image of making the perfect film or the Hollywood film, or you'll have an image in your head of what the final thing is supposed to be, but it's not supposed to be anything. It's supposed to be fun to make, and it's supposed to express what you want to make. So I think it's easy to get caught up in the rat race, but I have kind of a lot of more things to say, and kind of we can break that down a little bit more. But everything I want to say, I think, goes back to that, which is don't lose the drive for why I want to make the film to begin with.
Hi, filmmakers. Oh my God, I love hanging out in the hood of Filmmakers. I would say the one thing that maybe gets in people's way, or the secret, is I believe if you are born to be an artist and to express yourself artistically, you don't ever give it up. It's not like you put in a year and you throw up your hands. It will always be a part of your soul. And once you accept the fact that that's just who you are, it will drive you for the rest of your life to surround yourself with other artists.
Oh my God. If I only had a secret to reveal, I don't know, I'm like an open book. I feel like, first of all, thank you so much for having me on this podcast. I really appreciate it. I'm extremely flattered because I feel like I'm at the very beginning of my artistic journey myself. So I'm just happy to be on board, and I'm still figuring everything out. And if I can help someone else along the way, I'm happy to.
G'day, everybody. So my one filmmaker secret is not so much of a secret because you all have it in your very own hands, probably right now, if you're listening to this, and it's this device. Doesn't matter what device you have. It's your phone. That is the secret to unlocking complete creative freedom if you utilize this tool correctly.
Hey everybody, thanks for having me on. The one secret I have is patience. Everything takes forever. Nothing happens as it's planned. You got to be flexible. And I believe, I know this will sound maybe earthy or whatever, but I believe in divine timing. I think it'll happen when it should. And it just takes patience. And I mean, I just finished only my second feature, and I've been trying to do this for just under 30 years. So it doesn't happen overnight. So just be patient and keep plugging away. That's my main secret.
What's up, filmmaker? What's going on? I have no idea how to. Enthusiasm.
That's what it's all about.
I don't know. I don't even remember because I filled out. You were like, "Oh, answer the thing." I don't even remember what I wrote. Filmmaker Secret.
Yours was, I'll give you a hint. It was about doing every interview.
Yes. See, I do what I say. I do. Actually, it's as soon as you said that, and then you gave me the tip, and I was like, oh, okay, I remember. So I got a distribution deal for my first feature at the beginning of the pandemic, which was a very small distribution deal. But in Canada, got us an article in Playback, which is like the Hollywood Reporter of Canada. And it's my feature debut, right, as a writer-director. But it took 5 years to get this deal. Even at this level, it's a small deal, but it's hard for someone to distribute your film, willing to put resources in and whatnot. But I've done maybe close to 100 interviews now for it since the beginning of which is now partly it's because of Clubhouse, and I'm national news in Canada because of Clubhouse, which is insanity. But also the movie helped, right? Because I was interviewed. I mean, I've had a long career. It's over 20 years now in Canada. Although now I'm going back and forth between the US and Canada. But there's something about I'm dating an American, so every time I say like about, she like makes fun of me. So I'm like about. Every time I say about.
We have accents here too.
About. Yeah, you do. I think filmmakers, they do a thing where it's like you put your blood, sweat, and tears. We all know, how hard it is to make a film. You make a film, and then, I don't know, it's like you do the festival run. Maybe you get a distribution deal like mine. Maybe a better one. Maybe you don't get one at all. But it's pretty similar. You kind of like put it in theaters or VOD or whatever you want. Maybe you spend a couple weeks, maybe a month, and then you cry and you're off to the next one. Or for me, I've spent a year promoting this movie, right? Now, partly it's because I only have the one. It's the pandemic, and I have other projects, but it's my feature debut. I love it, right? But it's really interesting to me that I've like literally been promoting it for over a year since the distribution deal, and I was promoting it before. And I'm doing another interview about it, right? I have 4 interviews set up this week, and the movie always ends up being at the forefront. Sometimes the interview is about me, sometimes the interview is about the movie, but it's always the first thing that people talk about. So it's kind of like this whole thing is like promoting the movie, but like people are actually watching the movie, right? And it's like I'm getting deals from the movie. And I think that filmmakers fundamentally underestimate the value of promoting. Can I swear? Am I allowed to swear? Promoting the fuck out of your movie, like over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's like, I don't know if people are thinking about Kevin Smith, Clerks era. Like, great. I mean, I love, like I'm old. I'm half Chinese, so I look 14, but I'm 43, But you can't do that shit anymore. You can't just like make a movie and get into a festival. As you were saying actually before the podcast began in earnest, like hope you get into Sundance and now you're fucking good, right? It's like, so today I was running my international film financing room, and like literally there was a producer who said his friend got into Sundance. He said his friend actually won Sundance, which freaked me out, and didn't get a distribution deal. He's like, not only did he get in, he said he won. I don't know what that means. There's many different categories, but I'm sure he won some sort of award or something, and then did not get a distribution deal. But to be honest, I'm not even so shocked, because there's this thing where it's like filmmakers will like get into a festival or a couple and you think you're good because it's so hard to get into those festivals. But the problem is that there's so many films now. There's so many and good ones. And I was a programmer for 5 years at a pretty big festival in Canada. And there's so many films that are good made every single year. It's like the only way to get people to see your film now is just to promote. Like a year. I mean, for 1 year, I've been talking about this movie. It's the first 2 lines on my Clubhouse profile, 100 interviews, something like that. And I'm going to keep promoting it, because how else do you build an audience when there's so many films?
What's up, filmmakers? I'm Benjamin Garst. As George mentioned, my filmmaker secret. Wow, I actually hadn't prepared for like what is my filmmaker secret, but I think the one that I would say is it's gonna sound cliche because you hear it all the time if you have ever taken a film school course or anything, but I think it is the anchor is show don't tell. I mean, we're working in a visual medium. We tell stories with images, and those two things go hand in hand, and you have to be able to find your way of expressing how you see the world through an image.
Oh my goodness, that was too good of an intro. That's not one, appreciate you having me on here. Okay, filmmaker secret. Here's what I think. Aim for awe and learn all the skills that will get you there. I think that's what I think that's my secret. I don't know if it's a secret. I might suck at it. Who knows? But I think the aiming, I actually remember that when we were younger, is just starting out and all that stuff. There was this video. It's just called Awe, and it's a YouTube video that like really like shook me to my core, which is just this idea that we have a responsibility to awe, to like enrapture people, and I've become super interested in this idea of the sublime and connecting with something larger than yourself. And that's to me like all the cool stuff that art can do. And if you aim for that and like use a story to get you there, if that is your waypoint that you're following towards the whole time, I think you'll end up somewhere meaningful either way, right? No matter the money or the challenges, because filmmaking is very hard and sometimes remarkably unpleasant. But like you aim to tell a story that like takes people out of their bodies, to make them their jaws drop with just the immensity, the density, the intensity of the story, then you've done something magical. And if you're aiming that direction, you'll get somewhere along the way.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? The Filmmaker Secret that I've been using lately is keeping track of contacts. Even if it's just like friends that I do projects with, student films that I work on, keep track of those people. Those are people that are in, the same career field, and you never know where you're going to end up when you're going to need someone. And I'm finding that I know a lot more people than I think I do. So it also kind of helps with the mentality piece as well, not feeling so alone.
Hi, my name is Bryan Landis Folkins, otherwise known as the BLF. I am very happy to be here. I think the one filmmaker secret that I'm keeping is the power of relationships. The power of relationships in this business cannot be talked about enough.